been in orchestras for like 7 years now. So from year 7, like, so for I think 7 straight years from year 7 to year 13, I was in orchestras. But this year, after year 13, after I graduated from high school, I decided to take a break from orchestra.
I didn't take a break actually. It's more like I'm not doing any sort of like outside university stuff. Orchestra, that's what I probably meant.
In the orchestra, I played the violin, which is like the instrument where you see the most people play in the orchestra. I kind of just wanted to make an orchestra video just because it feels like I still want to, talk about orchestra, and because I'm so, I have experience when it comes to being in orchestra for 7 years, so I kind of wanted to go through some orchestra confessions on Tumblr. The viola, the instrument where often jokes are about. I wouldn't say often, but I guess people do make fun of the viola. I don't play the viola, so I don't want to dismiss the instrument or anything. It says, I'm a violist. I wish people would understand viola jokes aren't really funny to the violas. It's quite insulting. We are as important as everyone else there. I agree. If you say stuff like, oh, violas, they're not as good as the violin, I don't think that's right. In orchestra especially, violas are important. If you think of this in a choir, it's like basically you don't want the altos to be there. They play in the alto register mostly, and that's why I think violas are a very important aspect in the orchestra, because they play the part in between the register of the violin and the cello. In a way, I find violas, they're special in their own way. Of course, everyone jokes around when it comes to this, but I don't like it when people make fun of the violas either. But in the end, I think all instruments are very important in the orchestra. First chair is where the leader of the first violins sit, like the concertmaster. So if you see in an orchestra kind of setting, is the one who shakes the conductor's hand, the one who shakes the performer's hand, and also the one who stands up when to lead a tuning session, basically. In this submission, it says, it's tough earning first chair when you are the youngest, as far as years of experience in an orchestral setting. The second chair resents me, and it's difficult getting the rest of the section to listen to me. They always overlook the fact that I practice long and hard on my instrument to get where I am, and that I do indeed have valid musical input. I know I may know everything about orchestra, but I sure as heck know enough about music. I joined the highest level orchestra in my high school when I was only in junior year, and mostly the people in there were like senior year level, year 11 to 13, and I was only year 10. They didn't put me in first chair. They actually put me, or any other higher chairs, they just put me in second violin. But I can understand this because I think there's some sort of hierarchical system within the orchestra. I'm just very thankful that in my orchestra, everyone at least treated everyone with respect, regardless of what year level you were. Yeah, so I'm very thankful of that, and I'm just thankful of the environment I was in, But there are just some orchestras that are not like that, and I guess it's just really hard to deal with when you're in that situation. Life, life, you go on tough roads and you just have to just go through them without any complaints, and you just have to solve them, like any human being would. Yeah, if anyone relates to this situation, don't deal with it yourself. I think try to talk to people seriously. Yeah, if you are really if you really feel like you need to actually talk to someone, then talk to someone. And also, if you really feel like the other members aren't really treating you properly, then either talk to them and have a discussion with them, or or just maybe quit the orchestra. But maybe that's too much. Yeah, that's too much. But yeah, just try to talk within yourselves. Yeah, talk within the group. Yeah, that's how you get things solved. If there's a problem, you always talk things out, or you always at least try to make things good for your actions as well. If your voice doesn't prove a point, then show for your actions as well. People will understand either way. The first method, count in their head, and then there's tap their toes on their fingers like this, counting out loud, 1, 2, 3, using an abacus. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen anyone use an abacus. Memorize everyone else's music and the rest. Yeah, I guess there might be people like that. Rely on their neighbors, which is kind of an irresponsible decision, just saying. Or just guess. In my experience, at first I just use my fingers. Yeah. I think the one I don't recommend anyone doing is probably counting out loud. Yeah. Do not count out loud. I think when you're counting, just try to keep it internal, like on your fingers. Yeah, that's fine. Counting in your head, that's actually a good thing. Yeah. Tap their toes. As long as it's not loud and doesn't disrupt other people. Memorize everyone else's music and the rest. Well, I guess you could do that, but that's a bit of a tedious work. Just guess. Don't think that works. Rely on their neighbors. I said again, that's kind of irresponsible. I probably use my fingers. I also use counting in my head. I didn't rely on my neighbors because I didn't want to do that, because let's be honest here, sometimes your neighbors are even more bad at counting than you as well. But I think the ones I would recommend, probably just count in your head if you can. Fingers as well, but not show it, maybe just by your leg. As long as people don't see you doing this, it's fine, but just try to, don't show it to other people. Just do it, where you can see it, not where other people can see it. Yeah, that's just how I used to count rest. The first time I actually experienced that really long rest was when I entered the high level orchestra in high school. And when I saw that, I seriously, I freaked out when I saw that. At first, I think I relied on my neighbors, which I guess helped because my neighbors actually just relied on everyone else, So I also asked my violin teacher, I asked him, what is this? And they told me what it is. And then I think their explanation actually helped me a lot. So then I didn't freak out anymore. If you want to know more about the key signatures, maybe search the circle of fifths. Right now, what I'm going to talk about is the characteristics of keys, the key signatures. If you heard them, what kind of words would you describe it? So there's C major, completely pure. Its character is innocence, simplicity, naivety, children's talk. So this is the chord of C major. A really iconic song in C major is Do Re Mi from Sound of Music. So it's like C minor, declaration of love, and at the same time, the lament of unhappy love. All languishing, longing, sighing of a love-sick soul lies in this key. So this is C minor chord. This is a tune that I will play in C minor that I just came up with. D major. The key of triumph, of hallelujahs, of war cries, of victory rejoicing, fuss, inviting symphonies, the marches, holiday songs, and heaven rejoicing choruses are set in this key. D major, the chord is this. I personally really like this key. Actually, I also like the E major as well. And they said it sounds kind of like, like a march, maybe with like a key of triumph, like. Yeah. D minor, melancholy womanliness. Oh, okay. The spleen and humors broad. D minor chord is this. E flat major, the key of love. Okay, why is it that? Of devotion, of intimate conversation with God. E flat major, which is the key of love. Let's see how it sounds then. D sharp minor, feelings of the anxiety of the soul's deepest distress, of brooding despair, of blackest depression, of the most gloomy condition of the soul, every fear, every hesitation of the shuddering heart breathes out of horrible D sharp minor. If ghosts could speak, their speech would approximate this key. I don't play D sharp minor that often, but I think the chord is this. Let me just play the scale. I think that's right. They said, if ghosts could speak, their speech would approximate this key. Need a lot of imagination to think of that though. E major, noisy shouts of joy, laughing pleasure not yet complete, full delight lies in E major. I kind of agree with that for some reason. E major, one of my favorites. I play it so often. I think I wrote a song in this key. E minor, naive, womanly, innocent declaration of love, lament without grumbling, sighs accompanied by fear, by few tears. This key speaks of the imminent hope of resolving in the pure happiness of C major. E minor chord is, let's see, I think it's. Oh yeah, what is that piece again? If you wanna look at what I just said, just go to Orchestra Confessions Tumblr. Yeah, because I don't wanna read the whole thing out. Thanks for watching. See you soon.